So good morning dear students. So in today's session we will discuss about MCQs of a chapter thermal properties of matter. So here the question number 1, absolute zero is the temperature at which. So when we observe absolute zero, so absolute zero temperature in the sense temperature should be zero, or else we are going to observe whenever the temperature is exactly, whenever we are going to observe kinetic energy as a zero, this temperature we consider as a absolute zero. So this is absolute temperature. So absolute temperature is the temperature where kinetic energy of the materials or gases it will be zero. So now when we have this kinetic energy is zero in the sense pressure and volume that also remain as a zero. So that is the reason. So here for the question number 1, so we have the option C. Next question number 2. When a copper ball is heated, the largest percentage in increase will occur in its. So the option is given diameter, area, volume and density. So when a copper ball is heated, so remember we are going to observe copper ball in the sense this is having a particular spherical shape. So here it is having a particular spherical shape here. When we increase the temperature, whenever we increase the temperature, there is a change in the volumetrically. So there is a change in the shape we consider volumetrically. It means, so here the copper ball when it is heated, it will increase in its volume, not with the diameter, area and density. So density remains constant. The reason is same amount of material and a diameter. So diameter in the sense, so that should be what we consider here, length should increase. If a length should increase, that is going to observe through the diameter. If area changes, that we going to observe through the radius square. But these two where we observe here volumetrically. So it means it will increase in its what here volume. So the option is for the question number 2. This will be C here. Next question number 3. A solid ball of metal has concentric spherical cavity within it. So here a solid ball of a metal has a concentric spherical cavity. So let us assume here we are going to observe a solid metallic ball. So this is a solid ball of a metal. So in that one, within this one we are going to observe a cavity. So within this particular spherical ball, or else we can consider a solid metal or is a solid ball of a metal. Within this one we have the cavity. Now if the ball is heated, the volume of the cavity, so if the ball is heated here, so if the temperature is provided to this ball, what happens to the cavity? So cavity also what happens here? Increases, because it will increase in its volume. When it will increase in its volume, there is an increase in the cavity volume also. So that is the reason, so it will increase. So question number 3, so we have the option A. So it will increase. Next question number 4. Specific heat of a gas undergoing adiabatic changes. Whenever we have the adiabatic changes, there we observe the equation. So adiabatic process andre already discuss ಮಾಡಿವಿ. So adiabatic process, remember here heat energy always remains constant. So heat energy that remains always constant here. So that change in a heat energy, so change in a heat energy that will be zero. So this is the adiabatic process here. So that's the reason. So when we observe undergoing adiabatic process, specific heat value, under heat value, change in the heat energy that we observe as a zero. So that is the reason. So question number 4, we have the option A. Next, question number 5. So Newton's law of cooling is used in laboratory for the determination of. So for what purpose? You are going to observe Newton's laws of a cooling. So when we observe Newton's law of a cooling, Here we are going to determine specific heat capacity. So specific heat capacity of liquids here. So ಯಾವ liquid ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಆ liquid ದ specific heat capacity ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ಸ್ law of cooling ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. So again question number 5, so we have the option given by C. So specific heat of a liquid. So Newton's law of cooling is applied in order to identify specific heat of a liquids not with the gases. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲೋರಿಮೀಟರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಹೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Now, so question number 6 here. So which of the following cylindrical rods will conduct most heat when their ends are maintained at the steady temperature? Let us assume here you are going to consider a uniform rod like this. So here you are going to observe cylindrical rod. Now at both ends, let us assume end A and let us assume this as a end B here. So now the temperature at end A, this is given by TA, and the temperature at end B, that is given by TB value. So now both the temperature are maintained steady. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. Now, so the first option is length is given as 1 meter and the radius is given as 1 centimeter. And in the second option, so length is given as 2 meter and the radius is given as 1 centimeter. So in the third option, length is 2 meter and the radius is 2 centimeter. Again in the fourth option, so length is 1 meter, radius is 2 centimeter. So these are the given options here. So which will conduct the more amount of a heat? So in order to identify the more amount of a heat, we have the equation that is given by, so Q is equal to K multiplied by area multiplied by change in the temperature divided by length here. So this is the general equation. Now in that one, so K is equals to Q is equal to K multiplied by now pi r square into delta T divided by L. So here you are going to observe a steady temperature. So steady temperature ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ so ಇದರೊಳಗೆ K is a constant term, pi is also constant, steady temperature ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ delta T value constant ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So that's what heat energy depends on what your radius square divided by length. So ಇದರೊಳಗೆ highest value ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಏನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, it conducts more amount of heat here. Let us go through the first option here. So radius is 1 centimeter square, length is 1 here, so that we are going to observe Q1 is equal to 1 joules. So is the amount of heat energy. So and in the second one we are going to observe 1 centimeter divided by length is 2 meter, so that Q2 is equal to 0.5 joules. Now in the third one again we have Q3 is equal to 2 centimeter divided by 2 meter. These two will get cancelled here, so that we are going to observe 1 joules. So unit is entirely different. We can write 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Now, so if we calculate the fourth one here, again centimeter, so 2 square, so there you are going to observe 2 square, so this will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So again you are going to make a square here, so 4 centimeter square, so 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4, so 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 divided by 1, so that we can write, so 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 joules. So in the first one 1 joules, and in the second option 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules here, or sorry 1 into 10 to the power of minus 4 joules here, and in the second option again 0.5 into 10 to the power of what here, minus 4 joules here. So in the third one 2 into 10 to the power of minus 4 joules, and in the fourth one so we have 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 joules. It means more amount of heat energy, that is corresponding to the fourth option here. So question number 6, we have the option given by D. Next question number 7. under steady temperature, under steady state, the temperature of a body. So remember, if I consider this is any one of the rigid body, or else we can consider any one of the given body. Now, in that one, we will observe a steady temperature. So, steady temperature within the body. So, we are going to observe, or else a steady state. So, steady state in the sense we are going to observe it is in a stable condition, or else we can say a stable state here. Whenever the body is under stable condition, there you are going to observe temperature. So temperature, this is what we observe for a different points. Whenever we observe here a different points, let us assume this is what we observe for the point A, and this is point B, and this is point C, like this. At every point the temperature does not change. So here temperature remains the same with respect to time. So this with respect to time here, andre first point A ಒಳಗೆ ನೀವೇನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಥವಾ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎ ಒಳಗೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೇಮ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಒಳಗೆ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಏನು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಸೇಮ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ನೆವರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ವಾಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಬಟ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎ ಒಳಗಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಒಳಗಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎ ಒಳಗಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಿ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಹಿಯರ್, molecules are moving in a random direction. So all the molecules are moving in a random direction, and all the molecules are having different amount of what here velocities. So all the molecules have a different velocities. ಯಾಕೆ different velocity ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ different amount of temperature ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So different amount of temperature ಇದ್ದಾಗ different amount of thermal energy ಇರುತ್ತೆ. different amount of thermal energy ಇದ್ದಾಗ different amount of velocity observe ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. different amount of velocity observe ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ different amount of kinetic energy ನ observe ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So that's the reason. So different amount of velocity ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ basic reason ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ different molecules have a different temperature, but this temperature never changes with respect to what here time. So that's the reason. So question number 7 we have the option D. So does not change with time but is different at different points of a body. Next, so question number 8, the quantities of heat required to raise the temperature of two copper spheres of radius. So two copper spheres of radius, R1 is 5 centimeter and R2 is, again R2 is 10 centimeter. So copper strip 1 and this is the second one. So here we have two copper spheres. So copper sphere 1 and this is the sphere 2 here. Next, if we have like this and the temperature is increased to the temperature, so now the temperature is increased through 1 Kelvin for the sphere 1, and similarly the amount of temperature is increased through the 1 Kelvin for the corresponding sphere 2. Now, so sphere 1 is having the given data like this, and the sphere 2 is also having the given data like this. If that is the case, what is the value of the heat liberated? So what is the value of a heat liberated, or else we have to identify the ratio of a heat energy liberated through the sphere 1 with respect to the sphere 2 here. Now we will write the general equation, that is what we can write Q is equal to M into S multiplied by delta T. So here Q represents amount of heat energy which depends on directly proportional to what here mass of the object, and again directly proportional to what here difference in the temperature. So amount of heat energy directly proportional to mass of the substance, and amount of heat energy directly proportional to difference in the temperature. So that is what, if I substitute and simplify, we can write, so Q1 is M1 multiplied by S multiplied by delta T1 again divided by M2 S multiplied by delta T2. So here delta T1 and delta T2 both are same quantity through the temperature of a 1 Kelvin here, so that these two will get cancelled, and specific heat capacity, so S value also get cancelled because both are having the same material. So here also copper sphere and here also copper sphere, so that S value will get cancelled. Now Q1 divided by Q2, now this mass can be written in terms of a volume. So here the volume is given by V1 is equal to 4 by 3 pi R1 cube. So because a sphere, now here the volume given by V2 is equal to 4 by 3 pi R2 cube. So now we will substitute. Now the density, here the rho 1 and here the density rho 2. But so again when we substitute here 4 by 3 pi R1 cube divided by 4 by 3 pi R2 cube, next rho 1 divided by rho 2. So both are having same material, so that density will get cancelled here. Next 4 by 3 pi and 4 by 3 pi, these two will get cancelled here, so that Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to, now R1 is 5 centimeter is there, 5 cube. So 5 cube again divided by, now here 10 cube, so that we can write 125 divided by 1000. So if you simplify, Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to 1 divided by 8 here. So the option is for the question number 8, this will be C. Okay. So here the question number 9, two metallic spheres whose radii are in the ratio. So here the radius R1 divided by R2, this is a given ratio 2:3, and densities are in the ratio. So now rho 1 divided by rho 2, that is equals to what here 5 divided by 6. So these are the given datas, and have the same heat capacity, then the ratio of their specific heat capacities. So here both are having the same heat capacity. So both are having a same heat capacity, in the sense we can write Q1 is equal to Q2 value. Now in that one, so Q1 M1 into C1, because specific heat capacity we should identify. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ specific heat capacity identification ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಬರೀತೀರಿ, M1 into C1 is equal to ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರೀತೀರಿ, M2 into C2. Now in that one again we are going to observe ratio identification malikara. So C1 divided by C2 is equal to M2 divided by M1. So M2 divided by M1 here. So this implies C1 divided by C2. Now the mass you are going to replace in terms of density and volume. So then in baritire density and volume format ಒಳಗೆ ಬರೀತೀರಿ. So ಯಾವಾಗ volume ಬರೀತೀರಿ, so 4 by 3 pi R1 cube, sorry R2 cube. So R2 cube multiplied by rho 2 again divided by 4 by 3 pi R1 cube into rho 1. So here 4 by 3, so 4 by 3 pi, these two will get cancelled here. C1 divided by C2 is equal to R2 divided by R1. So here if I write R2 divided by R1, this will be 3 by 2. So this will be 3 by 2 whole cube. So 3 by 2 whole cube again multiplied by row 2 divided by row 1. So when we write here row 2 divided by row 1. So this what we can write 6 divided by 5. So on further simplification. So if I make a simplification, we can write 27. So 27 divided by 4 into 6 divided by 5. So 2 3s are, and this will be 2 here, and this will be 81. So here you are going to observe 81 divided by 10. So 81 sorry, this will be cube in the sense it will be 8 and this will be 4. So 5 into 4 it will be 20. So further on making a simplification, here you are going to observe 4 point. So 4 point nearly what we observe here 0.5. So 4.05 divided by 1, or else we can say the ratio is 4:1. So the option is for the question number 9, it is A. So option is A here. Next, question number 10. So for a given black body, the graph of a emissive power at a different temperature along with respect to wavelength is given in the diagram. So let us see the diagram first. So when we observe the diagram here, there you are going to observe the emissive power along the y-axis, and along the x-axis you are going to observe the wavelength. So this is the emissive power. So emissive power with respect to wavelength. Next, when we observe the graph, so this is the first graph, this is the first graph what we observe here, and similarly this is the second graph when we observe here, and similarly this is the third graph when we observe in the given emissive power with respect to wavelength. Now the corresponding value what you are getting here, so this can be taken as a lambda 1. So maximum corresponding to the first graph, that can I write lambda m1. So lambda m1, and this is what we observe here lambda m2, and this is what we observe here lambda m3. Now, so if I observe the lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3 value, we can say lambda m1 is going to become lesser than lambda m2 is going to become lesser than lambda m3. So according to the x-axis values, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು y-axis ಅನ್ನು compare ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ energy more ada. So energy for the first graph is more, but a wavelength corresponding to the first graph is lesser here. So that according to the x-axis value, so lambda m1 is lesser than the lambda m2, again lambda m2 is lesser than the lambda m3. Now, so when we have the Wien's displacement law, so wavelength is inversely proportional to fourth root of a particular, so fourth power of a temperature. So that is the reason we can write lambda m maximum wavelength into t raised to 4, that remains always a constant here. So this is what we observed as a Wien's displacement law. So that's what we can write lambda m multiplied by t raised to 4 here. So when we observe according to this one, we can say so temperature T1 should be greater than T2 should be greater than T3, because these two are inversely proportional to each other. So option is question number 10. So this will be C. So option is C now. Okay. Next, question number 11. So here the question number 11, the Wien's displacement law express a relation between. So what is the relation? It is going to represent here. So the first option, wavelength corresponding to the maximum energy and temperature. So Wien's displacement law, delta m t raised to 4, that should remain as a constant. So where delta m represent maximum energy wavelength. So wavelength corresponding to the maximum energy. So now the temperature T is going to represent a temperature. So that is the reason. So question number 11. So we have the option given by A. Next. So question number 12. If the specific heat of a substance is infinite. So specific heat capacity of a substance is infinite. So yavaga infinite aguttandre, so whenever we are going to observe delta Q value should be 0. So if delta Q value 0, then we can observe specific heat capacity at a constant pressure that remains as a infinite. So now delta Q 0 in the sense what here? Q should be constant. Andre no amount of heat energy is entering and no amount of heat energy exiting here. So no entering. So no entering to the system and no exiting from the system here. So this is what we can say temperature remains constant. So that we can say delta Q value should be 0. Whenever we have delta Q value 0, so specific heat capacity at constant pressure that will be remaining as a infinite. So that's the reason. So question number 12. So question number 12. So option is C. So question number 12. We have the option C here. Next, question number 13. The latent heat of a vaporization of a substance is always. Remember, so latent heat of a vaporization that is always greater than a latent heat of a fusion. So very important theoretical concept here. So latent heat of a vaporization is always greater than latent heat of a fusion. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ದಿಂದ ಏನು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ದಿಂದ ಬರ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಇಫ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಬರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್, that will be always very greater than what here boiling water burning effect here. So boiling water ದಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ದಿಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ here. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ದಿಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬರ್ನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಕಿಂತ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ latent heat of a vaporization is greater than what here latent heat of a fusion. So this is the reason. Next, so question number 13. So question number 13. So option is A. So option is A here. Next, question number 14. According to Newton's law of cooling, the rate of cooling of a body is proportional to. So according to the Newton's law of cooling, the rate of a cooling. So rate of a cooling in the sense we can write d cubed divided by dt. So rate of cooling or else rate of exchange of heat energy is always directly proportional to. So it is always directly proportional to theta minus theta naught. So theta minus theta naught in the sense difference in the temperature. So difference in the temperature that will be with respect to system and with respect to what here surrounding. So this is always directly proportional to a difference in the temperatures between system as well as surrounding, or else we can say with respect to body and with respect to surrounding. So that's the reason. So question number 14, option is D. Option is D here. Next, question number 15. On cold morning, a metal surface will feel colder to touch than the wooden surface. So ನೀವು ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಒಳಗೆ, ಸೊ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮೆಟಲ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ವುಡನ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್. ಅದು ನಾವು ವುಡನ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ವುಡನ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಮೆಟಲ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ cold ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ರೀಸನ್ ಏನು? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್? ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಇಸ್, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, metals are always having more amount of a thermal conductivity. So the conversion or is the conductivity of a the thermal conductivity of a metal is very larger. So compared to any other. So solids ಒಳಗೂನು ಏನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ wood ಕಿಂತ metal ಒಳಗೆ. So metal is a good conductor of a thermal or is a thermal energy. So that is the reason metals are having more amount of thermal conductivity. So that's the reason it appears as a more cold. So option is, so question number 15 we have the option B. Next, question number 16. In order that heat flows from one part of a solid to the another part of another part. So what it is required? So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಅದ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಎಂಡ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಎಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಹಿಯರ್. ಎಂಡ್ ಎ ಒಳಗಿರೋ ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ Q1 ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಎಂಡ್ ಎ ದಿಂದ ಎಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಗೆ ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ Q2 ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಒನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಟಲ್ ದಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಂಡಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಅದ? ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಅ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಚ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. So next, the second one. So that what we have taken here. So heat energy is directly proportional to mass of the substance and heat energy directly proportional to difference in the temperature. ಈ ಎರಡು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Again, heat energy Q is equal to, we can write ms multiplied by delta T. So this is a specific heat capacity ಅಥವಾ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ heat capacity ಅಂತ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ. So now in order to observe this one, ಈಗ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ third option is uniform gradient, sorry temperature gradient. In the fourth option uniform temperature. ಇಲ್ಲಿ temperature uniform ಆಗಬಾರದು. So temperature should make a delta T should not be a 0. ಇದು 0 ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ Q value ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That should not be what here zero quantity, that should be non-zero quantity. ಅಂದ್ರೆ temperature difference ಇರಬೇಕು. ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ L1 ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ L2 ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ದಿಸ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ L3. So what is the meaning of a temperature gradient? So temperature for the length L1 and the temperature for the length L2 and the temperature for the length L3. So ಮೂರು ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ L1 ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, L2 ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ with respect to unit length. So with respect to what here unit length, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು gradient ಅನ್ನು ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. L1 ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್, L2 ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್, L3 ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, zero ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನ್ zero ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 16 ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಲೆಂತ್. ಸೊ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಅದರದ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ